Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics. Our program spotlights people in our city who are involved in activities designed to promote good human relations. I am Michael Keller, the host for your show, and also the chair of the Annapolis Human Relations Commission. The commission is a city board that seeks to promote equal opportunity and to eliminate discrimination. Today's show is being filmed from Annapolis High School, and my guests are all individuals who are involved in that high school. I would like to introduce, as our guest today, Donald Lilly, the principal of Annapolis High School, Shanita Spencer, an avid teacher at the school, and two students, senior Jamar Johnson and junior Larissa Wilds. Welcome to Annapolis Mosaics.
Thank you.
The county public school system entered an agreement with the NAACP and other community groups to bring African American students into parity or equality with all students in terms of academic achievement. Probably from our viewer standpoint, the most interesting parts of this are proficiency in reading, writing, and mathematics, high school graduation rates, and various measures of college preparation and attendance, such as SAT participation, completion of advanced placement courses, and participation in the International Baccalaureate program. And in entering your school today, I couldn't help but see the sign for the International Baccalaureate program, very pronounced in its placement at your school. So what I'd like to ask as a first question is, what programs and initiatives has Annapolis High School introduced to contribute to this effort of increasing the academic attainment for African American students? And I'm going to direct that first question to you, Mr. Lilly.
First of all, Annapolis High School has taken the lead on this initiative dealing with OCR as well as No Child Left Behind. The one thing is, since we were zero-based, we have many initiatives, starting with our Summer Bridge program, working with the middle school, bringing our kids, identifying them, and bringing our kids over during the summer to get them prepared for the high school career. Along with that, the building of relationships and any other initiative that we need to make them feel comfortable enough to come to us for the additional help. Also with that is to take a close look at our students and to decide what classes they need so that they can continue to move up the scale as far as taking more rigorous courses, be it honors, AP, IB, or whatever. So I know that we've taken the initiative to pay closer attention, work with them one-on-one to help them, help us move in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Jamar, you mentioned that you're a senior this year.
Yeah.
Are you planning to go to college this fall?
Yeah, I plan on going to Morgan State.
Morgan State University. What have you been doing to prepare for college?
Well, I've been doing my financial aid and working with Miss Spencer and Miss Great and getting, encouragement from them to, do my best and to try real hard. Mm-hmm. Because at first I really wasn't planning on going to college, but they pushed me to take those steps so I could better myself. Mm-hmm. in the future. So.
Mm-hmm. What specific activities and programs have you been involved in to help you to confront or deal with the academic rigors that you're going to face in college?
Well, the AVID mainly, mm-hmm. and that's a class where we learn about what to face in college and what we can do to prepare ourselves for it.
Mm-hmm.
He also has, during our Panther Connection, sort of Panther Connection / advisory period, we carve out that period of the day where kids need additional help or support. They're able to go to those teachers for that 25-minute block of time to get additional support.
What would you identify, Mr. Lilly, as being the greatest successes that you've had at Annapolis High School? What do you also identify as some of your greatest challenges in terms of improving and the academic attainment and achievement of African American students and bringing them into parity?
What's probably some of our greatest successes has been our ninth grade. The ninth grade academy, the ninth grade, the summer bridge, all those initiatives aimed at that group. That eventually will help our dropout rate by keeping them connected to the school. So I have to say the GPAs, the attendance, the discipline, especially reduction in discipline referrals on the ninth grade, has been our most successful at this particular point. The obstacles that we are still having is to get our kids to come to school consistently. There are many, many, many issues that contribute to them not being here. And once we are able to sort of corral that monster, I think that we will be quite successful here at Annapolis High School.
What is the racial composition of Annapolis High School?
We are about 38% African American, about 38% white, about 14% Latino Hispanic, and being that we are an ESOL school, we have a combination of a mixture of other students.
So it's a very ethnically diverse high school.
Yes, it is.
Jamar, have you been involved in any of the programs that Mr. Lilly has just mentioned?
No.
You have not? Could you describe what you have found in the AVID program? And you mentioned that you took part in that, you've taken part in that program. What part of that program has really been important to you that you found to be very meaningful in terms of helping you? Could you give us some specifics?
Really, I say the whole program,
Okay.
because that program to me is based on our success. AVID really helps us. How can I say this? It really helps us with our scheduling. Like prioritize what's more important first and what really needs to get done. AVID to me, if it wasn't for AVID, I wouldn't be going to college. That's how I see it. Because at first I always had in my mind that, yeah, I'm gonna go to college, but at the same time I might not. But if it wasn't for AVID, I wouldn't be organized as I am now. Because coming to high school, that was a big problem with me. And basically, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be having a future right now in my eyes.
And I just want to say that I am going to move over so one of the other students or teachers can come over and talk for a few minutes.
All right. We're going to invite Ms. Spencer to come. Ms. Spencer, could you share with us and our viewers some of the details about the AVID program? Many of them probably are not very familiar with it, and I think they would be very interested in learning more details about exactly what it involves. Could you share a little bit about it with us?
Certainly. AVID is a national program. It's in all of the high schools, middle schools, and many of the elementary schools here in Anne Arundel County. And it's an acronym that stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And what we do is we work with students who are kind of in the middle, that D through B student who, with some assistance, can take honors courses and who may be, the first in their family to go to college and have other things going on in their lives where they need some assistance. And we provide them with assistance to put them on the college preparatory path. What we do is depends upon what year that student is. In ninth grade, it's basically a focus on basic skills, organization, tutorials, which is like a study group, how to study in groups. We work on career interests and success skills for 10th graders. In 11th grade, we really start focusing on preparing for college. And in 12th grade, we do the actual preparation for college, including helping parents with their FAFSA, helping the students with their all the examinations they need to take, whether it's IB, AP, SAT, ACT, SAT2s, and we help them to fulfill whatever requirements there are for them to get into the college of their choice.
Okay. Could you give us some statistics about the progress that you've made? Is there any information you have in terms of the impact that the program is actually having on students?
Well, if you start looking at statistics, AVID students tend to do better on standardized test scores, so we have a great success rate on the HSA. All of our seniors applied to college this year. I would say 85 maybe 90% will go to a 4-year college. The remainder will go to a 2-year college. All of my juniors will be taking the SAT this year, including for the May 5th and the June 5th. They'll be finishing up that. That's one of the things we're finishing up. I would say 50% are in AP classes of our junior class. Most of our kids are required to take honors in AP, or of course if they're IB, we support them all the way through once they come here. So in terms of hardcore numbers, I don't have that, but we have lots of successes to show, what we've done with the school.
Jamar, what do you plan to study when you enroll at Morgan State University?
Hotel and restaurant management.
Okay, actually, it's a field that's in a lot of demand right now. It's one of the fields statewide that's been identified as that there's insufficient numbers of applicants for jobs. You're entering a field that there's a tremendous demand for. Have you given any thought to the kinds of preparation that you're going to need when you get to college in terms of your work? What are you doing
Well, right now
in terms of improving your study skills and other kinds of things?
Okay. Well, in our classes, we would use tutorials to take that time to do work in other classes that we might have problems with in groups, and that helps our group skills also, working in groups. And we also, at the same time, we help other people with their problems that we might be good at. And really, that's about, I guess.
Okay. What actually led you to select hotel and restaurant management? What?
I like to cook.
Oh, okay.
I like to cook and eat.
Okay. Well, that's a good reason for it. How many? What type of academic courses are you enrolled in? How are you taking the regular college preparatory course of study?
What do you mean?
Are you what courses are you actually taking to prepare yourself for college? And what are your classes this term?
Right now, I have personal finance, which helps us with our personal,
All right.
expenses.
Okay.
I also have English 12.
Okay.
I have marketing 2.
All right.
I take work study, a work-based learning program. I also have web page and design.
Okay.
And I have earth and space science.
Okay. Well, that is what's called a college preparatory curriculum. It's very challenging. You can just tell from the types of courses he's taking that they're courses designed to prepare him for the rigors of college life. And it's very important for students to take that kind of curriculum before they enroll in college, because we have lots of studies that show that students who take a rigorous course of study academically in high school have a better chance of succeeding in college than students who don't. So I would applaud you, Jamar, for enrolling in that course of study. The programs that they've established at Annapolis High School, what do you think are the prospects of closing what's been called the racial divide? And in other words, what you see in terms of some of the statistics is that African American students do not perform as well overall in terms of a whole variety of different statistical types of things than do the average student. What do you see as the prospects of closing that gap, looking specifically at African Americans versus all other students?
I think that it's an enduring problem no matter what level in the education spectrum that you have. I think that we have a great chance of closing that gap because of a number of initiatives are being instituted here at the high school. As Mr. Lilly said, we have the Summer Bridge program. He's asked a group of us to look at the retention rate in AP and IB courses and how to increase those numbers. We're asked to go out and work with the middle schools to recruit students into the programs and introduce them to what the opportunities are. in my program, we work with parents to try to help them help their children. And there are a lot of other programs. I know that the IB program has a parent component. And so it becomes a partnership, and the more we can involve parents in this process, I think the more success we're going to be in. The more we let the parents and students know what resources are available to them to assist them, and the more we have a background of success, I think it's going to help tremendously.
Okay. Teresa, do you plan to go to college?
Yes, I do.
All right. That was very affirmative. I can tell you're very determined to do that. I know you've got at least one full year to think about it, but have you been giving thoughts to the kind of school you'd like to go to, the individual school, or?
Yes, I would actually like to attend North Carolina A&T.
Okay. All right. And what are you thinking about studying there?
Broadcast media journalism.
Oh, it's a very, very good field. Another one that's in tremendous demand right now. So that's a very, very good choice. And what are you doing to prepare for college?
Right now, I'm basically taking my core classes as far as what I need to take in 11th grade, as far as honors and everything.
Good.
But for my schedule next year, I'm going to be taking a lot of writing classes, a lot of journalism classes, media and everything to get prepared for that.
That's excellent preparation. How is the staff and teachers at Annapolis High School preparing you for that?
A lot of the ones that I'm close to, they're very motivating. They're very supportive. They're like another parent. It's like when you come here, it's like another family. So they're very supportive as far as that. Yes.
Okay, all right. And you're getting a lot of support from your parents and from your family?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. What do you think of some of the programs? Have you taken advantage of some of the programs that Annapolis High School has to offer in terms of getting you ready to go to college?
The only task I've took is Abbott, and that's pretty much the main, of course.
All right, okay. And what do you like most about Abbott?
The support, the motivation they give is like sometimes what a student needs, and they have a lot of it, so that's what I like.
Ms. Spencer, I'm going to ask about something that really impressed me when I walked into school today, and that is all the attention that you've given to the International Baccalaureate program. Are you familiar with that program?
Yes, I am.
Could you tell our viewers about it? I mean, most of our viewers have heard of the SAT. Most of them, I'm sure, have heard about advanced placement. But there's probably not as much attention that's been given to the International Baccalaureate program. And I was struck by its placement and a sign as you enter the school. In the reception area, there's lots of literature about it. Tell our viewers a little bit about the International Baccalaureate program and what its benefits would be for a student at Annapolis High School.
Well, in 2007, we graduated our first IB class. And Annapolis was one of the inaugural schools in the county to have IB. International Baccalaureate is one of the, I guess it's not a college preparatory, but it's one of the honors programs that we have in addition to advanced placement. It's not like students just can take classes. It's an entire program. They apply in 8th grade, and there are certain prerequisites they have to have, like they have to have a foreign language, they have to have appropriate foreign language component. They have to, and they've had to have algebra by the time they've been in 8th grade. And basically, they go into the ELP program, and it means, with the name International Baccalaureate, it means it has an international focus. It has a strong writing component, and that increases as they go through and become IB students in their junior year. What happens is that the students really intensify their focus, with culminating in a 4,000-word essay at the beginning of their senior year, around the mid-beginning of the senior year. It's just a different focus. If you look at the literature, they say that that's where education probably needs to go. And we have been very successful with our program. But it's not open to the entire school. It is a selective program, and as I said, the students that have gone through thus far have been very successful and gone into some extraordinary schools.
About how many students each year take part in the program? Do you have any idea? Or?
There's a limit of 100 students that can be accepted into that program. It's very individual. It's a very specific curriculum that the students follow. That curriculum is set at the international headquarters, and when they write their essays, depending on what they write on, they can go anywhere in the world to be graded. And so deadlines become very important, which is a really important skill our students need to learn while they're here, is meeting deadlines.
Right. How do you respond to that in terms of meeting deadlines and preparing?
For Ms. Spencer, I think that's like one of the key terminologies we must have. Deadlines are very important. Like now, even though I'm just a junior, deadlines are bam, bam, bam here, you know. So, you know, as far as deadlines, I think that's like the biggest overall feature that we must have.
Well, it's good training because you're certainly going to face that in college.
For instance, they had to sign, the entire junior class signed up for the SAT. If they miss that deadline, then there are fees that are attributed to that. And so if they don't want to pay the extra fees, then they need to meet those deadlines. If they miss their FAFSA deadline, they can lose scholarships. If they miss their scholarship deadlines, they can lose scholarships. If they miss the application deadline, they can miss out on going to the school of their choice. So we really emphasize meeting deadlines.
You know, one of the areas of academic proficiency, which is a great challenge to students, and it's seen in higher education, is mathematics preparation. The percentage of students who enroll, for example, at one of our community colleges, for example, who which of course are open admissions institutions, who enter needing some kind of remedial or developmental work in mathematics is quite high. It's much lower in reading and in English. What specifically is Annapolis High School doing to make certain that when a student graduates, that student is prepared to do college-level mathematics?
Well, unfortunately, it's up to the student how far they want to go in mathematics. We offer, as a school, free PSAT testing, so they know how they're going to score. The seniors all are given AccuPlacer, if I recall correctly. For Avid, I can really only speak mostly about Avid. In Avid, you know, they take the PSAT. As soon as they take Algebra 2, we want them to take the SAT, and our 10th graders are given AccuPlacer so that we know whether our Avid students are college ready or not, and then we advise them accordingly, you know, according to their scores. We also work really hard on the writing, because the writing is so key to their success in college. So that's a big component of Avid, is the writing. But as for what the entire school does, you know, that's up to, you know, the guidance and the administration.
Obviously, the most important statistic when it comes to high school success is graduation. And over time, we have seen that there is a substantial difference between the dropout rates and the non-completion rates of African American students as opposed to all students. You know, the numbers are just there. African American students complete high school a lower percentage than do all students, and that has tremendous impact in terms of their future success. What's Annapolis High School specifically doing to address that issue, the issue of making sure that students stay in school?
Well, one thing is that they're monitoring the seniors' grades constantly to make sure they're on track for graduation. And we monitor our attendance really closely. You know, a student who is absent quite a bit or has tarded quite a bit, you know, can become a huge attendance issue. You know, we have PPWs here in the school that work with students. More specifically, I don't know, the great thing about Annapolis is that, for instance, in IB and in AVID and in other programs, you know, the students develop a really strong relationship and tie to the school. I would say if you came into an AVID class, you would find not only a mix of students, but you would find a close-knit group of students. And, you know, I think that, I know that they are working with some 9th grade retention issues, taking some of the students and putting them on a college campus and letting them take their classes there, provide them more of, I guess, a broader perspective. But again, I can just speak about what's going on with Avid in detail.
What do you find is the greatest challenges you face as being a student?
I would have to say the mindset of most teachers and how they perceive us. They think like, you know, most students won't get as far, but when they get that student that's like, I plan to go here, you know, so I will get here. It's like they're kind of like, whoa, you know. I think my biggest challenge is facing teachers that aren't really prepared for students that want to excel.
Okay, all right. One of the other goals that was part of the agreement that the school system entered in with the NAACP dealt with something other than academic attainment. It dealt with looking at the number of racially motivated incidents that occurred within the schools, and looking at ways of reducing those kinds of incidents, usually of you know, behavioral types of things. Are you familiar with anything like that in Annapolis High School? I'm asking you first,
As far as
Larissa. Just difficulties that occur between African Americans and white students, or white students and Hispanic students, and the like. Do you see, have you experienced anything like that in your school? Again, it definitely was part of the agreement that the school system signed in, and the reason for it is because there were feelings that within the county public school system that there had been racially motivated incidents that occurred. Let me just ask you, do you think this is a problem at Annapolis High School?
I wouldn't say it's a big issue because it's not really identified directly towards like a teacher. A teacher will, you know, verify it indirectly. But I mean, we do see it, but not as much as outside of the school.
Okay, all right. And you see it as being a situation between the teachers and the students, or between students?
I think it would be how the student perceives it, because, you know, teacher doesn't answer you, it's like, oh, she's racist. But I think it's amongst student to students more than it is teacher to student.
Have any thoughts about that?
Most of the issues I've seen in the high school seem to be issues that spill over from what happens in various communities. I don't see a lot of I really don't see a lot of that interracial antagonism. We're increasing our Latino population in our AVID classes, and again, as I said, it's very collegial. I've brought in speakers who are volunteering for a number of weeks, and you know, they're struck by how well our students get along with one another, given that it's so multicultural. And it can be, you know, a lot of people have a perception that there's this huge difficulty, when I think that many of the problems are a lot more subtle than that.
We have been talking today with students and staff at Annapolis High School about the county school systems program to try to achieve parity in the academic attainment for African American students compared with all students. Thank you for viewing our program today, and please join us again on Annapolis Mosaics. If you would like to have more information about the Annapolis Human Relations Commission, please jot down the information on your screen, 410-263-7998, or by email at hrcommission@annapolis.gov. Or you can check out our webpage at the city website, www.annapolis.gov. Click on City Government, then Board and Commissions, and you will find us. And always remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, "We have learned to fly the air like birds, and we have swum the sea like fishes, but we have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth as brothers and sisters." Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.